everyone, this is Aegis, and I'm bringing to you some games. From the Collegiate Masters Star League. The Collegiate Masters Star League was held at UMBC on February 12th, and these are games from round one. This is Fracture versus Poprockit. Poprockit's here spawning as the red Protoss, and his opponent is Fracture, the teal Protoss. These players are seeded 31 for Fracture and seed 34 for Poprockit. We also have to thank our sponsors, Steel Series and Monster Energy Drink, for helping us get this tournament held, providing us with some drinks for Monster and some equipment by Steel Series. Steel Series were able to give us some of these headsets. Steel Series Siberia V2, very good headset actually. Does not give me headaches, surprisingly. I usually really hate headsets and go with the earbuds because they give me headaches, but these are quite comfortable, I have to say for myself. We do have here Fracture getting his pylon at the front, very interesting positioning. First round does have the map set as Metalopolis, and the loser does get to pick the map afterwards. So whoever is the loser of this map does get to pick a map, as long as it is not the vetoed map of the other player. In this case, Fracture did veto Delta Quadrant, and Poprockit did veto Desert Oasis. We decided to put Desert Oasis back in the map pool because of the interesting games that we can have on that map. It's still a very interesting map, at least in my opinion. I used to very much enjoy watching games on that map. However, people do really hate that map as well. So these two players are going to be duking it out in this first game, and in the future games, we'll see if it does go to a third game. These games or matches in round one are best of 3. We do have best of 5s for the semi-final, and there were 53 players at this tournament, and we were able to hold a bracket format with a best of 3s for the entire, at least a best of 3, might I add, for the entire tournament. Also, a thank you to UMBC SGA for supporting this event by providing us funding for food. A huge shout out to them for doing that for us. Always great to have fuel for the gamers. Lots of pizza from a pizza joint that did not sponsor us, so we won't mention them at all. Fracture is going to be getting his first Zealot out, opting to chrono boost his probes rather than the warp gate research. His opponent is also chrono boosting out a stalker. He also has his first Zealot out on the field already. Neither player looking like they're going for well, I can't really tell for right now. We do see the double gas, so it does indicate to me at least that he's not going to be going for 4-gate. Fracture has left that option open for us, not grabbing the second gas. Could be one of those 4 gates without the second gas. Poprockit getting 3 gateways up, is grabbing gas, so we might be seeing some Blink Stalker play. We'll see if he throws down a Twilight Council real soon, or if he decides to do something else, maybe lots of sentries into an expansion. Here's the first sentry coming out, so we'll see if he decides to keep making yeah, more sentries on the way, so he might just be going for some sort of sentry expand. There's Fracture's probe moving out to the middle of the map. We'll see if he decides to go for some sort of proxy pylon and a immortal push, maybe a robotics facility coming up, or some sort of droppage with the 4-gate. His warp gate research is about to complete, a little bit off timing with the gateways, I have to add. But the robotics facility will soon be done. This probe is moving over here, gonna get shot in the face and explodes into a million pieces. This probe is more lucky as his master has told him to just sit idly by the watchtower. The Twilight Council is coming up for Poprockit, so it does look like he's going for that Blink Stalker, despite getting the 2 sentries. This is a little bit behind. We'll see if he's able to pull this off against the Immortals that will be sure to be coming out. Oh, getting tongue-tied here. Fracture throwing down additional pylons, does not want to get pylon blocked at 42. His opponent, Poprockit, is continuing to chrono boost the probes, not having the warp gate research done. Very interesting. It seems everything that he's doing is a little bit delayed in favor of the economy, chrono boosting tons of probes. If we take a look at the unit counting tab, it does look like Poprockit is a little bit ahead in terms of the probe count. We'll see if that changes in the future. Poprockit getting out more stalkers, getting another sentry. Very interesting build here. The probe finally getting his face smashed in. Fracture backing up with his units. Gonna take the one probe advantage. Gonna be chrono boosting out those immortals. And his observers also here checking everything out. He does know that the blink stalkers are out on the field, or will be at least. The blink is not finished researching. Very slow blink. It is already 8 minutes. Fracture is getting out more zealots. Gonna be holding in his base, maybe going for an expansion. No, gonna be warping in more stalkers, maybe going for some sort of advantage. We'll see if this probe, where this probe is going. There we go, getting a proxy pylon up at the Xel'Naga watchtower. He could put it here, or maybe here is better to get the units closer. But the Xel'Naga watchtower is always a great spot. Gonna be leaving that probe there to watch at the watchtower. Chrono boost going down on the immortals. Additional immortals just being queued up and rallied to this other immortal. This immortal will soon have other Krabby-like friends. Fracture gonna be guarding his one pylon here. Additional stalkers are also spawning out here. Poprockit has moved out and looks like he's going to be grabbing an expansion. Yeah, there goes the natural expansion. No aggression with the 4-gate at all. It does look like Poprockit is going to be engaging in this right now. Fracture could actually probably take this head on since his immortals are reinforcing right now. Poprockit is going to trap 2 stalkers, 2 zealots, and kill them off. The force field's now wearing off. A couple of zealots still stuck behind there. Fracture is going to continue advancing there. Additional sentries spawning, going to be able to hold this offensive off. Fracture getting additional stalkers to help reinforce. Maybe try to bust in here and kill off this Nexus once it warps in. Additional immortals are also being chrono boosted right now, stopping the probe production actually. We'll see what he decides to do to transition if this attack does fail. Force field's going down. That immortal getting trapped over there could get sniped, getting focus fired. Gonna back up with that immortal with 31 HP. His shields all drained. The immortal's doing sick damage, but getting walled off by the sentries. Not gonna be able to get up there fast enough. The blink getting used to retreat up to the high ground. Poprockit is letting his Nexus finish, and it does look like Fracture will be able to pick that off. The stalkers now focus firing one of the immortals. Gonna be taking that one out, but the expansion Nexus does fall. Fracture could just take this. Oh man, he's backing up. I don't quite agree with this backup pattern. It's getting blinked upon. Losing his immortal is going to be horrible. This immortal looks like he's getting away, but getting taken out by the stalkers. The observer still taking a good look at everything that's going on. Does look like Poprockit is going to return to the offensive. Going to start pounding on Fracture's front door. Going to be chrono boosting the gateways, trying to get additional gateway units out onto the field. Another immortal is also on the way. Gonna get a bunch of free shots off on those stalkers. Does look like the expansion Nexus is also back out on the field again. The sentries are advancing forward. Fracture with a much larger army, he could just break this army quite easily unless the force fields are used perfectly. And the immortals just do so much damage to stalkers. I think they do 3-shot them. Yes, they do. They 4-shot stalkers. I take that back. Fracture a couple of stalkers up here, seeing the retreating army. Wants to keep those alive as much as possible, but gonna get taken out anyways. The blink being used to wipe those units out as quickly as possible. Also gonna be losing a pylon up here. Fracture gonna be expanding to his natural expansion. However, it is going to be much later than Poprockit's expansion, which is almost about complete. Gonna be transferring some of these probes. Wow, that is such amazing saturation. 45 probes to Fracture's 33. gonna have a huge economic advantage as soon as he does transfer those probes over to his natural. Fracture's probe count is quite low. He also needs starting to get the upgrades for his ground army. When he does transfer his probes, he will be still behind on the economy. Poprockit resuming the or continuing the probe production, very good about making those probes and pylons key to winning the game as the Protoss player. If you're Terran, I wouldn't suggest trying to make probes or pylons. Same with Zerg as well. Fracture's Nexus is now completing, and it does look like the income is favoring Poprockit by a lot. 1,500 minerals to a paltry 700. Back to the production tab, it does look like Poprockit is getting the charge upgrade, chrono boosting that out, and is getting his first observer. We'll be able to pick off this observer that's parked right over the Blink Stalkers. It does look like the army sizes aren't generally even in terms of units. Perhaps Poprockit's army is just a tad smaller because of the absurd probe count in comparison to Fracture. Yeah, there we go. 56 probes to 36 probes. Fracture is gonna lose out on this economic war. Oh man, and still getting probes off of mining. Gonna not notice these for some time. Fracture's gotta rectify this immediately. Put these probes back on mining. He's losing a lot of mining time. There we go. Finally getting those back. Is going to be able to increase his minerals per minute just a little bit. He is running pretty dry in his main. However, the saturation is not doing very well. Going to climb up to 1,000 minerals per whatever unit of time. And his observer did not get taken out. The observer headed straight over here to Fracture's base. And Fracture is moving out once again to engage. Poprockit's army is starting to climb up there. Going to be able to warp in a ton of units. He does have his warp gates selected. Additional zealots are now warping in. He also has his Colossus den completed. We'll be seeing Colossus out on the field real soon. Poprockit getting additional 3 gateways as well to bolster his production. More pylons going down, getting a little bit supply block there. Fracture also a little bit behind on the army count. 2 assimilators not doing anything. He's got to get guys on gas in order to support Protoss's heavy gas units, the Immortals, the Stalkers, as well as the Sentries. An expansion going down for Poprockit. I saw a probe moving over here. Fracture's pylon is going to spot that, and is going to move his entire army in this direction. Going to try to break and force that expansion to cancel. Poprockit is still